Good. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. This is a regular meeting of the Allendale Land Use Board, at which formal action will be taken on the items listed on the agenda and upon any other matters which may properly come before the Land Use Board. The requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied through posting on the public bulletin board in the municipal building and the borough website, and by publication in the record on January 31, 2022, with copies being sent to the Ridgewood News. Certain agenda items be open to the public for comment or testimony, and the board will advise the public when such matters are open for their comment or testimony. I'll ask you, please rise. We'll do a pledge to the flag to start the meeting.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
Board Member Bergen.
Here.
Secretary Delavatio.
Here.
Board Member Davis.
Here.
Board Member Kistner.
Here.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Here.
Board Member Yakarino.
Here.
Vice Chairman Sirico.
Here.
Mayor Bernstein.
Here.
Chairman Quinn.
Here.
Alternate Forbes.
Here.
And alternate Petrino is absent.
Thank you. Okay, the first matter, we don't have it on the agenda, but it's the resolution 22-10 for an approval we did Monday night for a variance for Paul Sprunk, block 1005, lot 12, 78 Hamilton Street. So I'll ask Chris, our attorney, to kind of paraphrase that resolution.
All right, this was just Monday. Actually, sometimes it's good to do them right away because you keep them fresh in your mind when you're preparing them. But we approved this, the board approved this application on Monday. It was a pre-existing non-conforming condition that was exacerbated by an increase in floor area ratio for an addition over a two-car garage for a master suite. The addition did not make the physical encroachment any bigger, but due to the enhanced setbacks, it increased slightly. We took testimony from the applicant and the board approved it with the condition that the new architectural plans be submitted, which would accurately depict the driveway, and also that the applicant would comply with any field adjustments requested by the engineer. And that's what the resolution calls for. The hardship variance.
Yes, thank you. C1, right?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Do we have anybody who would like to make a motion to approve?
So moved, Yakarino.
I'll second.
Davis, second. Any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a roll call vote.
Secretary Delavatio.
Yes.
Board Member Davis.
Yes.
Board Member Kistner.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo.
Yes.
Board Member Yakarino.
Yes.
Vice Chairman Sirico.
Yes.
Chairman Quinn.
Yes.
Alternate Forbes.
Yes. Motion carries. Second, I'm doing the paperwork. Needs a copy. Thank you, Joe. Seal delivered. Okay, now we'll move to the public hearing section of the meeting. I believe we have 3 variance requests this evening. The first one is application file land use board 2022-03, Christina Jasko, 321 Brookside Avenue, block 1406, lot 15. And this is for an addition to a kitchen, dining room, new rear deck and new roof over. Assuming this is another hardship variance. We have an architect and the applicants. Welcome. Chris, was all the paperwork in order?
Yes, I've reviewed the notice of publication as well as the 200-foot list, and the notice requirements have been met, so the application is ready to proceed this evening.
Okay, thank you. Do we need to swear people in?
Why don't we swear everyone in? Sounds like everybody's going to be talking, so. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth throughout the course of this application?
I do.
Very good.
Okay. Why don't you tell the board what you're looking to do?
Okay, I'm Mary Sprow. I'm the architect for the applicant. I'll go over the project. And then if you have questions for the homeowners, you can proceed with that. The addition, as you can see, this is a little new, so I can.
Yeah, so the
Operate
arrow
this.
keys, you
Okay.
can page through and what you submitted is all
Okay,
on here.
Sorry. Get my-
This is the first time for
This
us
is the
too.
first
so-
time.
This is the first, because yeah, the request came for the PDF, so I was like, oh, something new. This is good. This is great. So briefly, what we're proposing to do is add on to the existing single-family home. It is a walkout basement, so we're going to extend the living space at the basement level and patio space outside of that. On the first floor. On the first floor, we're bumping out the kitchen and adding a breakfast room. We're relocating their TV room to where the breakfast room was, and their TV room is going to become a first floor guest bedroom. And then we're relocating the existing powder room and we're adding a shower to that room. There's no work on the second floor of the house. And
Okay.
then at the front of the house, we're going to do some improvements to the aesthetics of the front of the house. There is an existing overhang, but there's no column. There's some columns off to one side. It's asymmetrical. So we're going to add a column. We're going to add this column here to the corner of the house. And we're going to add this little roof over the dining room windows as well. So nothing is protruding further into the setback, but we are adding, the main thing is we're adding this column. This roof like kind of sits in that front yard setback, and we're adding this column here. If you look at the zoning table, you'll see that we're here for a front yard setback, side yard setbacks, and building height, all of which are pre-existing non-conforming conditions. The hardship here is that they're in a small lot. It's a triangular in shape. They're also in an older section of town where the homes probably pre-existed the current zoning ordinance. So when it was built, it met, but since the revisions in the ordinance to control the land use development, they became non-conforming over time. The other thing to note is that there's a big grade difference from the front of the yard to the backyard. The existing front yard, the existing building height is 35.6. You only perceive that when you're in the backyard. You don't perceive that from the front yard, and it's due to the walkout basement, and Allendale measures from the lowest to the highest. What we're adding though, the new construction is only 24 feet tall. But because we're going further back into the yard and because the slope is continuing to go down, that building height increases a little bit. It goes from 35.6 up to 36.66. When you look at the side yard setbacks, I'm going to go to the last page. There was an engineering drawing, and next time when I have an engineering, I'll also send that PDF along. So you may have this engineering drawing from Paul's Engineers, which has more information than what this sheet has, but this I'm going to use so I can talk to it while you look at that other drawing. The existing side yard on the left where the garage is 3 feet. The existing side yard on the right is 19.3 feet. We're not changing either of those. Those will be existing to remain. When we designed the addition, we did it straight off the back right-hand side of the house,
Mhm.
because that's the side with the
More room.
larger setback.
Right.
You'll see the red line, which is the enhanced side yard setback with the increase in square footage for the house. And the only part of the addition that goes into that, the new setback requirement, is a little corner of the staircase leading down from the deck. We didn't want to put it across the back because they have the walkout basement and it really makes that space dark. So we wanted to put it off to that side.
So it
That-
comes off to the left side.
Yeah, to the right side. So that, at that point, it's 21 feet from the side yard. The existing front corner of the house is the smallest distance at the 19.3. As far as coverage and floor area ratio, we are well within the allowable coverages and floor area ratio for the lot. So I do feel that the addition is still in keeping with the neighborhood and the adjacent homes. If you look down the street, the adjacent homes also are in that front, close to the road and in that front yard setback. We're at 24.9 and the zone calls for 40, but that 24.9 is in keeping with the neighborhood. So tonight, we're requesting a C1 variance for hardship due to the shape of the lot being triangular and the grading, the natural grading, the location of the house pre-existing many of these ordinances. And we did our best to keep it within those new setbacks. One other thing what I can do is I can also address Mr. Veland's letter. I did
Okay.
review that. In terms of landscaping, yes, all the existing landscaping will remain. There will be some minor adjustments to the landscaping at the rear of the home where we're doing addition. But there will be landscaping that will be planned as part of the project. We just haven't gotten that far at this point in time. Exterior lighting, we will only be providing lighting right now that as required by building code outside of the exterior doors. And then the rent under item 4.4, there were some additional items that Mr. Vreeland recommended they do as part of the application. And we have no problems with any of these requirements. Soil moving permit, plot plan approval, etc.
That's your commentary to Mike's comments.
Mhm.
So why don't I just ask Mike
Yeah,
about your
yeah,
comments?
yeah, I think she's addressed just about all the comments. 4.4 is really associated with other agency approvals. Really advise the applicant that the board approve the application at the additional steps. I guess the one question I still have is with regard to the exterior appearance of the house,
Oh,
materials and colors, if you want to.
right.
Information on that.
Yeah, so the exterior siding, I don't think it has become final. They may change the color of the house, but the siding will be in keeping with the existing siding that exists. And you can see that in these renderings too, that we're proposing a clapboard type siding, asphalt roof, most likely a Trex type deck off the back, standing seam roof off the front of the house with square columns that kind of help anchor that roof at the front of the house.
Really don't have-
Okay. I guess the only concern I had was when I saw the height standard, because we're pretty strict about the 35 feet. Now your existing already exceeds that by a half a foot, and now we're
Correct.
going up even more. So tell us about that.
Right, so in order to build in the area where we're having the least impact on the side yard setbacks, we got to go out in the middle, out the back. If we went out the side, then we could build and not increase the building height, but we would be really encroaching upon that side yard setback. without major regrading of the backyard, there's really no way to go out back without increasing that building height due to the slope, the natural slope of the land.
So the land is running away
Yes,
from the back.
yeah,
Or
even
front to
as you
back.
go back and then it levels off a little bit and then it
And it
keeps
drops.
going down a lot. So previous owners at some point probably have leveled out some of it to kind of make it a little bit better, but we would always be chasing it. So we only did we only added on to the first floor. We're not adding any volume on that second
Second.
floor. So the new construction has a 24-foot height. We didn't do the full 3 stories of the construction. So in a strange way, the house may feel a little smaller from the back of the house because you're not having such a vertical element. You have this 2-story mass in front of the 3-story from the rear of the property. And none of this is visible from the street, from people walking on, you'd have to really be in the backyard to see it.
Yeah, that's what I went and viewed it and sat there for a while and kind of thought that as well, that you really couldn't see it from the streetscape.
Right.
Because of the way the land tapers off in the back. You agree with that, Mike?
Yeah, and we did go out and take a look at the property and review the application. The lot does run off pretty significantly as you move toward.
And that causes the height.
And that will cause the fact that the applicant isn't proposing a full 3-story addition in the back. and that's something
All right. Okay, thanks. Board have questions?
Yeah, so Mary, but you're not, so I'm looking at the house now and where the roof line is now compared to that front like peak to the right. You're not raising that roof line at all up in line with the peak? Because right now it looks to be about, 4 feet below that.
I'm sorry, the roof line at the front, the top drawing or the bottom?
The
drawing?
top
the
drawing.
front
The top
elevation,
drawing,
yeah.
no, none of this is all existing,
Okay,
this roof line. In the front of the house, the only thing we're doing, this roof here, where I'm putting the hand now, is an existing roof. And we're
Right.
adding this little roof and we're adding this column. There's 2 columns on either side of the door right now. There's
Right.
Not a column, it's just kind of hovering.
you see what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
saying though? Right, like you're not going up here with the roof line.
No, no.
Okay.
I think it's because this is.
It's a perspective,
flat.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a
Okay.
perspective. So you don't even perceive it, but no, we're not raising that at all.
Okay, just wanted to confirm that.
Yeah, so it's just this area here. You can see that it's all hidden in the back by the second story of the house, which looks like the third from the back.
Other questions from the board?
Mary, again, there's nothing that could be done with that. Yeah,
Not unless we regraded the whole backyard,
that's the only.
but
way.
there's like, we're always chasing it.
No, I,
Because it just keeps going, so there really was
Keeps running
nothing,
away.
and that's why we tried to keep everything down. And we felt like going out back was better than going into the
Mhm.
side yard, because we felt the side yard really affected the neighborhood in a.
no, I applaud you for doing that.
Right,
You know the way this.
Yeah, I usually don't like coming for the height variance,
Yes.
but it's kind of similar. I think the only other properties in town that are maybe like up on Crescent, there's a lot of houses that are up on the hill and
Right.
they kind of sit low. And those types of properties run into the same thing. It's not a typical situation that you have such a height difference. There are a couple of instances in town, but
I think even the usable areas of the backyard.
yes,
right,
there are.
because-
right
because of
there.
the not everything out there. So in order for them to utilize the backyard close to the house, they had.
Okay.
And again, as you've testified 3 times already, the front is not changing. What you
Correct.
see from the street.
Nothing's visible from the street. No increase in the height at all.
Yeah.
Which I think is the intent of the code really is that,
Mhm. We're not building out to the sides and impacting neighbors to the sides, which just seems like you've avoided by going straight
Right.
back, which is the right way to do it.
It was better than going over the garage even, because the garage is so close to that
Right.
left-hand side, and that would really impact that neighbor.
And the backyard is all woods, you know, it's right. it's-
Correct. So
You
in the
don't see
summer-
it from the neighborhood behind.
Right, so when everybody's outside in the summertime, we really don't, there's a stream in the back.
Yeah, you
there,
got the
too.
burp. Anything else from the board? I'll open it up. If not, I'll open it up to the public. Any members of the public wish to be heard or challenge the testimony that's been presented? Hearing and seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board. Any other questions from the board before we entertain a motion for approval? Okay, would anybody like to make a motion? Or Chris, do you have anything that?
Well, I think the hardship has been testified to with regard to the specific nature of the property and the shape of the property and the topography. And any resolution of approval would just have the usual conditions for, working with the borough engineer to make sure there's no adverse runoff, as well as complying with the engineer's memo.
Hearing that, would anybody like to make a motion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Joe. We have a second on that motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Patty. Okay, any discussion on the motion that's been raised to approve this hardship variance request as we just heard testified?
I just want to say that, we're sticklers for height. But as you noted, the intent is to not have homes looming over, their neighbors on either side or in front of them. So I do think this is a unique situation, but we are sticklers, but.
And I say the same thing. That's why I asked the questions. And, you know the way, you've been before this board enough. You know how we are with this.
You used to be on the board.
And you
I
used to be on the
know. I
board.
used to be with
You used to
you.
be with us. Okay.
I am too. I'm with you on that, but this is that unique situation that.
And I'm sorry for interrupting, but yes, because of the unique situation, normally we really, really try to hold to that. Okay. But because of your situation, the land and everything else. Okay. All right.
And I think the resolution of approval should reflect that, Chris, just that.
Yeah.
That we're agreeing to the height variance because of the uniqueness
Mhm.
of the topography.
Mhm. So, we need to be careful with precedent and everything
Yeah,
else.
Well,
don't want them.
Yeah, the topography and the shape of the lot.
Mhm. I agree with you, Mr. Chairman.
So we'll amend slightly the resolution of approval to add that caveat. So we've had a resolution, a second. Any further discussion? If not, we'll move to a vote.
Board Member Bergen,
Yes.
Secretary Delavatio,
Yes.
Board Member Davis,
Yes.
Board Member Kistner,
Yes.
Councilman Woman Lovasolo,
Yes.
Board Member Yakarino,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Sirico,
Yes.
Mayor Bernstein,
Yes.
Chairman Quinn,
Yes.
and alternate Forbes.
Yes.
Okay, resolution carries and you're approved with the caveat from our attorney that.
Right, we will be passing the resolution at the next meeting in March. And at that time, you can pull permits and move forward with your construction. No need to attend that meeting.
Okay.
Good luck.
Okay, good
Unless
luck.
you want to.
Right.
We have a TV. No.
Nice. I don't know how to make this for the next person, but.
We'll take care of it. Thank you. That's what I thought.
What is this?
All right, the next application is Land Use Board 2022-04, Charles and Pamela Stock, 210 East Crescent Ave, Block 507, Lot 4. And this is proposing to attach a garage to the house. I believe that it's an existing garage to the house and expand above the garage. And I believe this is another hardship variance request. Chris, do you have?
Yes,
Well,
I
yeah.
have reviewed the affidavit of publication. I've also reviewed the notices that went out to the surrounding property owners. The notice was given in the newspaper on January 27th about this meeting, and it is proper, so we have jurisdiction to proceed with this application.
Thank you.
And who will be testifying?
I'll start.
All right,
My name is Vincent Leno. I'm the architect for Charles and Pamela Stock, who live at 210 East Crescent Avenue in Allendale. We
All right.
are indeed going for a hardship variance in the side yard. We're looking to take an existing non-conforming.
let me just swear everybody in while we have, just in case we ever ask any questions of everybody else. So do you all swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth through the course of this application? Okay, very good.
Okay.
Mr. Leno, you put your name on the record, so proceed. Sure.
So the project is at 210 East Crescent Avenue. We're looking to connect an existing non-conforming accessory structure to the existing house, make it into one primary structure. We'd connect the existing garage with the base, essentially a mudroom. There'd be some an exterior deck and stairs in both the front and the back. We'd also slightly enlarge the garage, pulling it forward a little bit, and I think about 4 feet. And we're also going to make it a little bit wider towards the house to get some storage inside the garage. The second, which we're going to add above, the existing garage in the new mudroom, and a stair that'll connect the 2 levels. We believe that this is a hardship variance based on the 2 bulk requirements. One is the zone is a AA zone, which I believe is the minimum lot area is 26,000 and our lot is 19,000. The existing minimum lot width in a AA zone for the setbacks that are imposed are, I believe, 130 feet, and we are 95 feet. So that's what gives us the hardship on the side yard. We're trying to be as sensitive as we can to the neighborhood, stepping the roof lines down as low as we can, while still getting a second floor above the garage. We are also depressed from the road, and again we're staying lower than the existing roof lines. If you want, I can walk you through the lines. I don't know how to get it on the screen, but if you have a hard copy in front of you.
Yeah, we do. Tyler, is that possible to do on the screen or?
You know, we can't use a Mac, I mean, unless you email me the drawings beforehand. It has
Oh,
to be
okay.
on that.
It is really hard to read, so
Yeah, that's,
kind of explain because they're so small.
Oh, it's you have small.
yeah, we have.
My eyes aren't what they used to be.
Again, I guess, yeah. So one on, yeah, on page, on the first page, one thing, based on,
That's page
a,
dot double 001.
yeah, so
I just want to make sure we knew that.
yeah, the site plan, it shows it as a 20-foot setback, but based on the way the calculation is done by the zoning officer, I believe that's actually really 24.6 would be that side yard setback. So that would obviously correct that on our plan. But the first page essentially shows you a plot plan with the existing and proposed conditions. It shows there's a basically some zoning data up in the upper right-hand corner. The center of the page has some general notes, and then there's a series of photographs at the bottom of the page that show the existing conditions.
Can you just go over on the zoning data, what the variance requests are?
Yeah, so the variance request, I can actually read what the zoning officer wrote. You are on property located 210 East Crescent Avenue, Allendale, New Jersey, is in an AA zone. You are proposing to connect an existing non-conforming accessory structure, parentheses garage, with a mudroom to the existing house, and an addition above the garage, making your current house and separate garage one large home. In doing so, the garage is no longer an accessory structure and is subject to an enhanced side yard setback. Side yard setbacks are calculated based on a formula using the gross building floor area, GBA. Your proposed GBA is 3,515 square feet and would require a 24.6 foot side yard setback. Currently, your garage is 7.5 off the left side, off the left property line, where 24.6 is now required. Referred as Borough Code 270-64B parentheses 2. So I believe the only variance that we're requesting here tonight is the side yard, which is a big one.
Minimum width, okay, you're saying that's pre-existing, 95 feet exists, but there's 130 required in the zone, but that's already, okay.
And the lot is 19,000
Yeah.
versus 26,000.
Okay. So yeah, that is a significant concern and issue with us. And I don't know what, I'll let you finish your testimony, and then we'll ask our engineer to comment on that as well, so.
Sure.
So if you want to run us through some more, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I could take you through the very small drawings. The second page is basically essentially is a demolition plan for the first floor, which
Okay.
essentially shows the existing conditions. There's just some minor demolition to the house where we're going to break through and to the garage walls.
Okay.
But essentially, we're working off that existing foundation. And the second page, the third page shows the existing second floor demolition plan, which is really, we're just doing some work to the center window on the second floor. And that's really the extent of the demolition on the second floor. The fourth page of the document is essentially a proposed first floor plan, which shows the garage. We're coming forward 4 feet, but the way the house is oriented in relation to the property line, we're actually going away from the property line. That's why we chose to extend forward and not back. The garage is very small right now, and so
It's like a one car. Is that,
yeah, and we're putting a set of stairs in that takes up space in the back, so that's why we came forward a little, and then we also are taking, I think it's about maybe 20 inches into what we call the mudroom to get a storage area.
okay,
And that also allows us the opportunity to make the room upstairs a little bit bigger. But you can see the front, there's a little a covered front porch area. And in the back, there's a stair that's going to go up to what would essentially be a little studio bedroom on the second floor. And
and you're not changing the exterior wall of the garage to the left side of the property, which is already 7 feet away, so.
correct.
That's
No,
not
we're
changing.
just going on top. And where we are in the back for the stair, we're stepping it over, so we're not making it worse.
Yeah, I see.
with the
Yes,
property
it's
line.
cut in, okay, gotcha.
And, you know, essentially the fifth page shows the new bedroom above with a bathroom and a walk-in closet. The second to last page shows you the front elevation. We're also adding these metal roofs on the front to kind of disguise the cantilever.
Yep.
And making a portico on the front of the house. Not only to give a covered entry, but starts to afford some more curb appeal. The last page, you can see the left elevation and the rear partial elevation.
Right.
And that's basically,
Okay. And you said the house is depressed, meaning that it's lower than the street?
yeah, it's
is that-
lower, yeah. I don't know, significantly, I would say 5 or 6 feet more. I'm guessing.
And that's up by the Ramsey line. I drove up there myself and just took a look, so I visually had a better feel.
Just don't go across the line.
Otherwise you'd be in Ramsey talking to them. Any comments, Mike, from you on this one? And I'm particularly interested in the accessory structure, so like the detached garage that has, I think we're more lenient with that type of structure, right? And then when you incorporate it into a house, it becomes less lenient. Is that right?
Well, yeah, the accessory structure has its own setback.
Yeah.
By attaching the garage, now technically that's all.
Becomes the house.
The principal
Right.
structure that's subject to setback. principal.
That's an interesting, I don't think we've seen something like that, at least in my,
I don't recall.
on the variant side, the old
So, I mean,
Board of
technically,
Adjustment side.
they're not building any closer to the property line. But
Right.
that Connection, the building technically is now. closer to the
Right.
property. So, I couldn't quite make out the distance, the existing setback from the corner of the existing dwelling to the property line. But I suspect, based on the calculation, that you wouldn't be able to add very much area to the existing structure. Side yard setback, whether you make that connection
Or not. Yeah.
based on the width of the property. That's the only other point that I mention, that the configuration, a lot, the location, the house, and the narrow width.
Right.
Would trigger that variance for enhanced side yard setback.
Almost with anything you
Even
do.
with a modest.
Yeah.
addition.
So the hardship really is the undersized lot for that zone, in essence.
Yes,
And-
the configuration and the size.
And the frontage is 95 versus 130, so.
So that's kind of sets the stage for, where your side yard requirements are.
Right.
And, the very small envelope.
It will add, substantial sort of bulk to the house, if you will, from a street view.
What they're proposing.
Yeah.
I don't think much. It's gonna
Because the
be-
garage is sort of unobtrusive now because it's this very small structure. But now you're just gonna go up over it and tie it back into the house. The reason I asked that, the house to the left of you, I'm looking right in front of your house, is a fairly large home, probably recently renovated and doesn't look that old to me. Have you discussed these plans with that neighbor?
By chance, I'm also their architect,
Huh,
and I just did their
perfect.
project before we did this project.
Okay.
So they seemed okay.
And they seem to be, their house seems to sit more to the left,
There, yeah.
further away from this house, if I just on my visuals.
And I was happy to not see them here tonight.
Yeah, that's
a good
important, because
sign,
I
though,
am
right?
gonna
That's
open
a-
it to the public
yeah.
and they have the right to
Right,
comment.
yeah,
comment.
no, I think-
That's why I asked if anybody's talked to them and, sometimes people say, well, yeah, and they're in favor of it, but they have the right to say yay or nay when they come.
I think it's a hardship variance, but I also do think that it is more of an embetterment than a detriment. And, we're trying to, I think the scale and with the way we're trying to make the roof lines work, we're trying to make it so that gutter wall isn't going up to the, so the top of that ridge is like 26 feet. And so but that gutter line is down, a good, maybe the side gutter line is probably down at least, I would say about 8 to 10 feet. So we're raising that side, but we're trying to keep it as low as we possibly can. For that exact reason, so that the massing between the houses is appropriate
Right.
with the scale of the neighborhood.
And I guess at the end of the day, you still won't wind up with a one-car garage.
In the end, you still end up with one car, but at least now there's, some room if they want to, if they want.
Yeah, for a little bit of storage or whatever.
And the vegetation is so you're keeping the trees on what? On the roadside garage, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, everything on the stays. Because that adds a buffer between.
Oh, yeah, along the, yeah,
Mhm.
Any idea of finishes, colors, materials?
I'm not sure about colors, but it's gonna, so the lower roofs will be standing seam metal. The whole house will get stripped and wrapped with the hardy plank siding, which is a cementitious material that's will appear to look very much like painted cedar. The trims will be AZAC. I'm guessing it'll probably be white. The trims will probably be white. I'm not sure what colors. We haven't really got to the color stage, but the upper roofs will be a dimensional asphalt roof.
Would it be safe to assume that the color would be consistent with the surrounding neighborhood? It's not gonna be
Rash.
rash.
Yeah, no brush. The hardy plank, I think, comes in a different series of Pantone colors, but if we can certainly submit colors in advance of ordering siding and roofing.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to get down
Get that.
that detail. It's just a general idea of tone or color family.
Not bright yellow.
Right. Or pink or
Fuchsia.
But orange is
purple
acceptable.
or,
No,
yeah, nice, yeah, neutral colors is.
yeah, I can
is
see it in the
perfect.
dark gray. Or,
Yeah.
Gray beige something. And then to the right. Stone.
Any exterior
We haven't shown exterior lighting. What I was imagining is that in the soffit above there's a roof above the garage doors. So I'm imagining there'd be recessed lights in that roof. The idea would be to try to, like hide a lot of light sources. And the same thing in the at the breezeway at the front, there would also be probably recessed lights in
In
that
the overhang.
ceiling. I don't think, other than that, I don't, and then at the in the back, I'm sure there might be some larger lights or wall mounted lights. And then in front, I'm thinking also the same, that we would try to put lights in the ceiling. And there might also be, probably there could be some nice downlights in the metal roof as it goes along, just for effect. And they'd be very kind of low output.
You're leaving the driveway and everything the way it currently is. No, that's-
The driveway, we might have to actually get adjusted a little bit, but we're looking at it. We got to really, I think, it has to get staked out, and we have to really analyze that a little bit closer. But, obviously the road pitches are going to change, and we didn't want to raise the floor. The easy answer was to just try to raise it up 2 feet. But what happens is it starts to bring up the whole elevation on the side yard. So we're fighting for every inch to keep the side as low as we possibly could.
Michael, you're okay with that being modified or whatever as the work is being done? If that's the way that would work?
Yeah.
Within reason, and I know reason is a very open.
And, there's a possibility that they will trigger one of these other requirements. As it has been in the past.
Okay.
Other questions from the board?
I have a question. So, like, as far as intent goes, this is just another suite, master suite for your home, for your family?
Yeah.
Is there any intentions in the road and down the road to, because you could potentially put up a wall, have an exterior access and stairs and almost make it a small apartment, even though there's no kitchen. Is there any intent to do that?
No. This is just for, growing family, grandchildren, et cetera. With Parents. It's no intention.
This is something we've asked other people in the
Yeah,
past, just to make sure it's on the
no.
record that you don't
No.
plan on having an apartment.
Yeah, no, this is only accessible from inside the house, not.
As far as like the roof leaders and runoff, any intentions of having that go towards your neighbor?
No.
Probably go to daylight out the back.
Goes right out the back.
And that goes along with the topography of the one. the
Oh,
plot.
yeah. It goes from Crescent Avenue, it just
Right, drops down.
basically just keeps going down.
Yeah.
To the rear yard.
Okay. And Mike would have commented on that anyway with the runoff, because you're kind of a stickler on that.
Yeah, their house does sit down. the road. Through their
Through-
property,
yeah,
it
down.
continues
Mike and myself were over that way that day with sewage water situation,
Mhm.
And I actually commented how
Steve.
it's pretty steep. Yeah. No, it is. Yeah, there it is.
And, I guess just about everything that they're proposing is over existing.
Right, so they're not adding in a significant way, that's fine. Other questions from the board before I open to the public? I'll open it up to the public. Any members of the public here tonight wish to comment on the testimony you've heard this evening? Going once, going twice. All right, I'll bring it back to the board. Silence is golden. All right, any other final questions from the board before we move for a resolution? Okay, seeing lots of no's. All right, somebody like to make a motion to approve with some of the, I guess, Chris, do you have any particulars there that
Well, I think
stood out
the,
as caveats or carve outs?
the hardship has been testified as to the existing lot width and lot size, which is undersized on both. And the only conditions would be the usual and standard conditions to work with the borough engineer in the field and comply with his requirements and recommendations in his review letter.
And applicant agrees to that? Okay, thank you. All right, somebody would like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Patty. Do we need a second? Anybody like to second that?
Second, Kistner.
Thank you, Ron. Discussion on the motion? Not seeing or hearing any. I'll move to a roll call vote, please.
Board Member Bergen,
Yes.
Secretary Delavatio,
Yes.
Board Member Davis,
Yes.
Board Member Kistner,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo,
Yes.
Board Member Yakarino,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Sariko,
Yes.
Mayor Bernstein,
Yes.
Chairman Quinn,
Yes.
alternate Forbes.
Yes.
Okay, you're approved.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. With the caveat from attorney here,
Right,
that's
so the resolution memorializing the approval will be passed at the board's March meeting. And at that time, it will be distributed to you, and then you can start pulling permits and moving forward with your plans. All right.
And if we have to finalize our construction plans, there's a period we have, like it takes us a couple months to get that taken care of.
Yeah, I have a year.
Okay, thank you.
okay. Good luck. Good luck.
Just a question, do we have a minimum size when we get submittals to review the drawings? Is there typically like 11 by 17 or, because 8.5 by 11, I can barely read that.
Right.
We have a minimum when we get submitted drawings?
I don't think there's any regulation on it, but most of, come out in kind of architectural 11 by 17 size.
I mean, I don't know about everybody else.
No, I had,
but if we could put
that was tough
something
to.
for the
to
future,
read.
just so people have some direction.
So I guess
Blow it up.
if Linda sees
Good idea.
applications come in with like kind of 11 by
Yeah.
8,
Yeah.
we can advise that to send in full size.
11 by 17 then?
Yeah.
I guess we'll-
Especially if we now, if we're gonna use the television screen.
I just said that to Linda, so
We
as
could
part of that,
also
to
ask
have
for
the PDFs too. And it helps to put it on the website ahead of time too.
Yeah,
Can't
true.
read that.
So you got that, Linda?
Yeah, but
PDF.
the public can see it too, though, so.
Yeah, so they can see it ahead of
From this distance, it's hard.
It would be nice if we could put a minimum of like 11 by 17 and up or something.
Right, well, that's what we'll, a good point.
If I was going to buy a second TV, have one down there.
There you go.
We need a second TV.
Can we do that?
Sometimes it's a requirement in the checklist.
Right,
I thought it was.
which is where it should go, right? I mean, so when they pull the checklist and they see what they have to do, can't we put it on
Can we
that?
just add it there? Yeah.
Can add it.
I don't know
Do we have to
if
vote to change the checklist?
Yeah, so Linda, if it's
No,
not, can we
okay.
add it? That-
It's not, so I will add it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just
And the PDF.
the size of
No,
the.
no height variances.
Ever.
An architect can only testify once a meeting.
Coffee for the board.
Oh, these are better.
No, just the size,
Yeah, these sizes are great.
the size of the handout.
This you can read.
Right,
I only know from having been up there,
right. Yeah, the last one was quite squashed down and it was almost impossible to
I'll
read.
give you
Well,
this.
plus
Let's see if you can read this, because I can't.
And plus if they're going via email, we can open them up on our own screens and zoom in as well. No, this is new for us too, as we said. But this is fun.
Okay. Final application for the evening is Land Use Board 2022-05, Lori and Sina Sakari, 81 Fairhaven Drive, Allendale, New Jersey. Block 203, lot 8, addition to the right side of the house and a master suite over the garage. It must be the garage night, over the garage night.
Long time no see.
And Mary's back.
I don't know if
And you're a
it's
pro with the
forward
laptop
again.
too.
I know, now I know. what
Now
I'm
you're a
doing.
pro.
Now I know, use the arrows, not the.
And do
mouse
we have all the
pad.
notices in place?
Yes, I have reviewed the notices that were provided back in my office. The publication was proper and the notification to the surrounding properties was also proper, so we have jurisdiction in order to proceed tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman, I guess we have to swear, get the professional, the expert.
We can do it again for the
It's
record.
been so long.
Right, I know.
Nothing's changed since last time you were here?
No, nothing. I'm still in good standing with the, yeah, you're right, because I wasn't here in January, so usually the beginning of the year I get hit with.
But you're here.
I'm still in good standing with.
You were here a
the-
half hour ago. so
Yeah,
it's okay.
exactly.
So who
We
will
need
be
to swear.
testifying?
I will be testifying, but just in case Lori has
All
to,
right.
I
So
I
Lori,
swear
if
us
you could
both
raise
back
your right
in.
hand, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth through the course of this application?
Yes.
Very good, thank you.
I can
All right,
start it.
go ahead.
Okay, sorry.
Name, address for the record.
Mary Scrow, Z Plus Architects, an architect for the applicant, 240 West Crescent Avenue, Allendale. The proposed project that we're showing you today is an addition to a single-family home. The lot is a corner lot. I'll go through the plans real quickly. We're going to rebuild an existing sun porch in the back, that's here, and take off the existing deck. And we're going to bump the kitchen out a little bit and add a mudroom on the first floor. The new square footage on the first floor is 310 square feet. And on the second floor, we're going to reconfigure the existing master's bathroom and closet, putting a new master bedroom over the garage. The existing bedroom will become a fourth bedroom on the second floor, making an additional hall bathroom and a new master bathroom and walk-in closet. The new square footage at the second floor is 468. So the total addition is 778 square feet. Everything in the new construction is conforming. However, because of the enhanced side yard setbacks, the left-hand side of the house becomes non-conforming. That left-hand side of the house is at 33.3 feet, and the new side yard setback requirement is 36.6.
Okay.
So I think the main point here is the existing location of the house on the lot. It's pushed more to the left, primarily because it's a corner lot and it has 2 front yard setbacks. You know, if I was building it new today, I'd move it over a little bit and we'd be fine, because we're well over 50 on the front yard that faces Bonnie Way. But that's not the case. But we did make sure that everything, all the new volume of the building is well within the existing setbacks. That's why we went over the garage this time and stayed on that right-hand side of the house. as
And when
part
you
of-
say you'd move it over a little bit if you were building fresh, over to the right?
I
to
would
the
move
Bonnie
it to
Way
the
side?
right, yeah, so
I just want to make,
yes,
so I understood
sorry,
what you were
not to,
saying.
yeah, we would, there's a little room that if it was a new house, you know, a house of this size could easily fit on this lot, but because we're working within the existing house, we feel that it's the right thing to do. The house is in great shape, that
Right.
adding on to it versus demolishing it.
And are you doing anything to the left side?
No, we're not doing any work
So
there.
just
We're
that,
gonna reside the house,
yeah, but no bump outs, no
no bump outs.
to the
No new,
left.
no new square footage or volume, no changes to the roof line or anything.
So you
like
get
that.
caught up by the expanded requirements
Exactly,
because of the size of the buildup.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
And you're not doing anything on that side that you're in violation on that
Correct.
side, the left side. Okay. I just want to
So,
make sure I understood that.
Yep, yep. So I don't think it falls under the hardship because the lot is a conforming lot. I think it's a C2 variance and that the benefits, you know, outweigh the detriments. And that it's still in keeping with the neighborhood by, because everything we're building is conforming. We're not exacerbating an existing condition. I can also, in terms of some of the comments from Mr. Vreeland's letter, I'm
Right.
these are some existing photos of the house. It's currently red with white trim. And the new house is going to be, you know, a beige sort of a color, you know, much more neutral with the white trim. We are going to do a new front portico that does conform.
Mr. Chair, I have a minute, because we've spent a lot of time down there lately because of the Fairhaven tank and.
Mm. Yep.
I like the red house. too. I like.
You like the
actually
red,
your house
yeah.
the way it is too.
I think sometimes people with red house, after a while, you get, when it's your house, you want to change. But, yeah, so nothing radically changing the house, but little updates that are just gonna make it, you know, a little crisper, a little more detail at the front portico. There will be some minor adjustments to the landscaping. That was one of the comments. There are some things that will be freshened up at the front entrance or rearranged because of the front portico. And there will be some adjustments to the landscaping at the rear of the house where we are doing the addition. But is the applicant's full intention to provide landscaping around all these new spaces. Very important to them.
So
As far-
as I look at that picture, the addition on the right side, is that setback?
Yes, it's set back. There's like a
It
little
looks
roof
like it from
line.
here. I just
Yeah,
wanna make
there's a
sure
little
that's-
roof line
Okay.
here that you'll see right here in front. So this is the new volume that you'll see on the
Right.
road, and the new siding, and then this new front portico. And then in the back of the house.
And we still keep a garage, as all houses in Allendale must have a
Yes.
garage?
Yep, we're still keeping the 2-car garage.
Okay.
So lots of storage. And then we were able to put the mudroom off the back for, you know, when you're right next to the garage, so it works out really well. And then this is maybe not exactly the final landscaping per se, but this gives you an idea of what the landscaping in the rear of the property will look like. And this is the existing sunroom that's being rebuilt.
Right.
You know, so it's a little more better insulated and better construction. And then this brings you doors into the kitchen and the mudroom area.
Any significant changes to the landscaping in front? There's several significant sized trees there. They're all staying.
Okay, yeah.
They're all staying.
It's really just in the area of the front portico, and then there may be a couple things that aren't doing so well that may get updated, a replacement.
Just for the board's information, the applicant had come before for either a plot plan or soil movement associated with some bush under the backyard. And they did a, very nice job with the landscaping and the work.
Another one of Mike's comments was lighting. We'll have lighting at all the entrance doors to the house. There are 2 floodlights, one shining onto the driveway and one shining into the backyard that we will maintain. The backyard one may need to get adjusted, but the goal is just to have into the backyard, not shining.
Over to the
not-
neighboring
right,
property.
Exactly. So, and the other one was just for the driveway area. But on that side, it's Bonnie Way, so that doesn't
Right.
affect any of the neighbors. The downspouts and the water drainage, we haven't engaged the engineer. We will do that after, should we get approved tonight, we will engage an engineer and provide Mike with any requirements for drainage and runoff calculations for the new downspouts and some of the existing downspouts that he noticed. And then item 4.6, soil moving permit and impervious coverage, tree removals, those sorts of requirements. That's not a problem. We can have a problem complying with those items.
Mike, any comments to add, or
No,
they addressed your
I think it
your
pretty much-
concerns?
Pretty much covered it. Typical situation where there's building expansion.
Right.
Technically trace the side yard setback, but no. work to be done.
We've had several of those in the past.
One last thing I just wanted to note too, is that we're not pushing up against any of the impervious coverage or floor area ratio percentages.
Or height.
We're pretty well within that. We're allowed an FIR of 19 and we're at 10.1. So,
And you keep the same height?
yes, it's actually, and the new
Have to
construction.
drive
will
that
be a
point.
little bit
Yeah,
taller.
I know. You missed it the first time.
Absolutely. This one, no building height issues.
At least 5 feet higher. No, no.
Right. I left off the cupola.
I think, what, about a year or
No,
so ago,
it's
we did deny an application for height somewhere in that area. Maybe on Bonnie Way somewhere.
You know what, on Bonnie Way, when you're going down Bonnie Way, that right-hand side, those houses have slopes. Because we had to do some adjusting on one project to not come here for the variance.
Yeah.
So even if you shrunk your proposed addition, it wouldn't matter. You're still your variance.
Pretty much anything that you add on. to
Even
the
if you did
house.
nothing, you still don't meet the
Right,
side yard setback.
right.
Just want that.
Does this meet the C2 requirements, Chris?
I
mean,
think
who are
it's,
the benefits? The benefits have to be not only to the homeowner.
yeah, I don't see the C2 criteria really as well. I see the C1 hardship just because of the existing positioning and the enhanced trigger. I think that is a hardship.
And it is a corner lot as well. I don't know if
Right.
it's considered
Yeah.
a hardship, but
Yeah,
that's
and
why the house was probably placed for, it was probably when they built the house, a 30-foot side yard setback. So it was built conforming.
I just think it, just as a board in general, if it's a closer call on either, I prefer that we go the hardship route as opposed to doing kind of a benefits versus
Right.
detriments variance where the benefit really doesn't benefit anyone other than the applicant.
Right,
which
that's
is
why,
fine.
that's why I
It's
raised the
okay to
question.
benefit you, but I don't think it fits under that criteria, and I think the enhanced setbacks do become a hardship when you do anything on regard to the property. Just my kind of
Because of
opinion on it.
an existing property.
Right.
I mean, existing residence.
Right, so maybe so for final approval purposes, we'll consider this a C1 versus a C2.
Correct.
Okay. Good. So I wasn't getting the C2 benefits. Okay. other board members have questions before I open to the public? Okay, I'll open the meeting up to the public. For any members of the public wish to be heard on the testimony we've heard so far tonight on this application.
Addie's from our office. She's observing.
A shaking of the head. All right, hearing or seeing no public reaction, I'll bring it back to the board. Meeting's now back in the board's hands. Any other final questions or any other thing to clarify before we move to or I'll ask for a motion for approval?
I'd like to make that motion.
Or maybe if Chris, you have some particulars you'd like to raise besides the C1?
No, I think the C1 and I think just the requirements that the applicant has agreed to comply with Mike's Breland's letter and to work with the borough engineer in terms of any drainage or stormwater management.
When you agree to do that? Perfect.
Typical in our
Okay.
resolutions.
Right. Okay. Then would somebody like to make a motion to approve?
I still would like to make that motion.
Okay. We're still on record. It's making the motion.
Second.
We have a second on the motion. Any further discussion on the motion? As well, he was anxious. All right. No further discussion. We'll move to a vote, please.
Board Member Bergen,
Yes.
Secretary Delawitzio,
Yes.
Board Member Davis,
Yes.
Board Member Kistner.
Yes.
Councilwoman Lovasolo,
Yes.
Board Member Yakarino,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Sarito.
Yes.
Mayor Bernstein,
Yes.
Chairman Quinn,
Yes,
alternate Ford.
Yes.
Thank you.
your application is approved with the caveat that the final approval is in a month. Or he'll put it in legalese.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Good luck.
You're gonna be back next month?
I think we have 3 on. The next month, talking about next month, we're going to use the Monday and the Wednesday of March, just to remind everyone. So we'll have 2 meetings again. The Monday will be that Maple, the
Venture.
22 Maple Ave apartment building. And I don't know how many other, well, we have at least 2, maybe 3 variances for the Wednesday meeting. So we'll have a pretty full calendar. And I had some discussions briefly on the land use council with Councilman Lovasolo, Councilwoman Lovasolo, in terms of maybe if we get involved with some of the I guess the G5 tower thing or the Suez water, that we may wind up having some other Monday meetings as well, as those issues may or may not come before the board. So we may use Mondays for that and continue to use the Wednesdays for regular applications that come before us. And as always, we'll play it by ear and see as we go forward. I did note, I don't know if you, hopefully everybody got the zoning permits. There is, I guess, another restaurant potential going in where the Bernie's Bagels used to be, plus the Posh store. And I think it was the same fellow who was talking to us about whether he was going to purchase Restaurant L. I have no idea if that ever happened or not, but he's moving another restaurant in town. So that we may at some point have to talk about parking issues around town on a Friday or a Saturday night, because it's going to be pretty interesting with another restaurant going in. So I guess this Arian will be busy towing people. We've had those issues in the past, or it's threatened to anyway. And then I think the other was out on Pearl Court. And there will be something coming to us in March on some renovation to a property out on, I don't know if it's Pearl Court, but part of the Borough Line Road Industrial Complex. So we'll be hearing from that. So that's all. That's pretty much what I have. Anything new on Park and Ivy? I think we chatted briefly about that on Monday, right?
Right, the brief is due, has been, will be filed by the applicant, and then I got to respond in a month. And the hearing is April 22nd.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Any members of the public have anything?
I have my little land use
I'll bring
committee
it,
report.
okay, I'll bring it back to the board and turn it over.
So yes, thanks for, we did touch base on perhaps when we have some applicants with conceptual drawings and some other things that we might want to call for that Monday work session.
Yeah.
So that would be great. Not all the time, but when the need arises. We also would like to start to push to receive our land use documents electronically. It's something we will phase in. I'd like to talk to Chris about that a little more. But it'd be something where, so like tonight, we would have it, we could put it up here, but also all of us would be able to receive it electronically and then still have hard copies and that also gets submitted as well for anyone in need. We want to remind our residents that sidewalks and the maintenance of are the responsibility of the homeowner. And also we addressed some resident concerns and I believe we worked up some appropriate solutions to some of those concerns. And that was about it. Anything else, Ron, you'd like to add?
Good meeting.
No,
The
thank
second time,
you.
you did good.
Thank you.
Good meeting.
Thank you for the update.
Thank you guys.
Anybody have anything else before we adjourn? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Yakarino.
We have a second on the motion.
Second kiss them.
Thank you.
Everyone.
No discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Great. Thank you.